Liverpool look to be signing Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth. So, in this video, we're going to look at the role he's likely to play in this new slot system. We're going to look at how he helps to rebalance the left-hand side of the pitch. And in my opinion, how he can actually benefit Mohamed Salah on the complete opposite flank. I mean, crazy guys, I know. But I really think there's some truth and some logic behind that, what I've just said there. Because it might not seem like the headline transfer, Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth, you know what I'm trying to say? But it could be the one that solves Liverpool's biggest problem, and we'll talk about that as well. Welcome back to the George Cave channel. Loads to go through today regarding Milos Kerkez. Make sure you subscribe down below. I know I said it all the time, but it's the easiest way of showing some support on this channel if you're enjoying it. Daily uploads, daily Liverpool stuff. Get involved. Let's start with Andy Robertson. I think it's a good place to start. The man who Kerkez will be replacing. I mean, if you didn't think Robertson was on the decline before this slideshow, hopefully you do afterwards, because even just showing these stats here, 13 goals and assists in 21-22, then to 8 the year after, then 5, then just 1. These are all from the Premier League, I believe. Just 1 last year. I mean, that just visualises that decline. And it's not even just a statistical decline in terms of outlet. It's also going the other end. Errors, unforced errors, sloppy like mistakes. He's becoming quite unreliable, I think, in the challenge 1v1. I'm not particularly confident when a winger squares him up anymore. Has he scored no goal this year? I can't recall. He's definitely given a penalty away, and he's definitely been sent off. So these aren't characteristics Robertson particularly used to have, like under Klopp. But it's not Arne Slot's fault, by the way. It's just a player who's played a lot of football, and naturally, players when they get older, they, I guess, lose their legs a bit and lose a bit of sharpness, and maybe that's where the lazy errors and tackles and fouls come in. Maybe that's an explanation, but there's no doubt, in my opinion, Robertson has to be replaced. Just want to talk on Mo Salah quickly. This is a really, I think, genuinely weighted argument. I think there's some points to be made here. Salah's obviously on the other side of the pitch. Teams have doubled up on him for years now, and I don't blame him. Like, defenders are shifting right, as I've written here, congesting Liverpool's most dangerous side, and there is no real punishment on the left-hand side when they do. Gakpo, Diaz and Robertson combined for fewer open play assists than Trent alone over the last 2 years. The balance is off, and it is... Like, when Mane were there, you could not... I mean, teams did double up on Salah, of course, but not as much as now. Like, you just couldn't afford to, because you leave Mane so much room. But the team we're in now, and with Robertson being so conservative, very kind of flat in the transition in the attack, there is no one offering any threat. I don't blame teams for putting 2 on Salah, because there's no point putting 1 on Robertson, is there, for the overlapping runs? Because he ain't doing them. Kerkez will. I've got some stats to show you in a minute as well. Literally 2 slides on. These overlapping runs are ridiculous. In fact, actually, I think he's got the most in the league. Most in the league. This man's going to be overlapping, man. And Robertson just wasn't doing that. He's going to add a completely different dynamic and take an extra man, I think, off that right-hand side, allowing Salah to maybe get more room. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Why Kerkez changes that? The highest number of overlapping runs in the Premier League last season, 237 off-ball overlaps, according to Opta. That's just elite. I mean, that's so good, isn't it? And we'll talk in a second, actually. Can I bring... Oh, here we go. Look at them overlapping runs, man. Yeah, zip them in. That's from Opta, by the way. These, I've not made these up by myself. Bournemouth passing network. This was against Tottenham, in which Kerkez put an unreal cross in. You probably remember it. A really good cross. He covered, like, half the pitch by himself, sprinting with the ball, and a really good end delivery. But look how close Kerkez and Semenyo are. I think this relationship with maybe Luis Diaz, with I think Wirtz at times, that relationship with Wirtz and Grimaldo at Bayern Leverkusen, they had a great relationship there. And I think because he likes to play so tight to his left winger and to his pal, they can get a good dynamic going there. And I think Diaz is quite a similar profile to Semenyo. So I really think he'll do well playing behind or next to or in front of Luis Diaz. I think that'll be a really nice partnership. Anyway, that was a little sidetrack there. Let's go back to most overlapping runs. His average touch came 57.8 metres from goal, second to only Man City's fullbacks. You know, that's just unbelievable. He's pushing high and holding width by default. This is not something that's going to have to be coached into Milos Kerkez. We're talking about transition. We're talking about players coming from different leagues, and they're going to be able to fit in, hit the ground running. This man is. 1, because he's played in the league before. 2, because Szoboszlai is best mates in the team. And 3, because he plays high up at Bournemouth. Also, we'll talk about Dean Huijsen being a very similar profile to maybe a certain Virgil van Dijk, if you know what I mean. What I've said, that threat pins back defenders from Mo Salah and pulls markers away from Salah on the other side. Let Liverpool isolate or rotate far more effectively. I wish I'd have said that 5 minutes ago, because that sums it up entirely what I was thinking. We're showing you these. It's not just energy with Kerkez, it's intelligence as well. He's not just like some chaos, like, wow, this guy's just headless chicken, but he's so like good. No, he's very smart. He's not reckless. Tackles with a high success rate. He reads danger early, from what I've seen, which I would say it's quite a lot. I'm not talking about Hato in the Dutch league. I'm not talking about maybe some Gyökeres or I watch this guy quite a lot. Match of the day every week. Kerkez is there. I've got a good idea of how he plays. I think we all do now. Tackles with a high success rate. Reads danger early. Often tucks into centre back zones during recovery runs. He's quite a fast fullback. I wouldn't say he's blistering, but he's very sharp off the mark. Certainly, he's a defensive upgrade on Robertson right now. I'd probably say no to a comparison between Kerkez and Robertson of 2018-19 solid. Maybe now, losing that sharpness, I think, yeah, I'd say it probably is. More composed 1v1, better positional awareness, and doesn't particularly get caught chasing the game, which I think Robertson has been guilty of doing a few times. And as I mentioned, he doesn't need to get coached out of that. Like, if you coach this chaos out of him, and I look at Nunes does not play with control, but Kerkez does play with control. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to coach this chaos out of him. So I think it's that's really good for transition, basically. Let me just get a drink of this, sorry. The tactical fit under Arne Slot. So Slot wants his fullbacks, we all know this, who can press and overlap and drop, depending on game state. Kerkez already rotates his positioning. This is a really invaluable skill, in my opinion, in the Premier League. A lot of it now is becoming quite, what's the word? Is it the word like holistic? And it's all like, we'll just cover areas now, isn't it, really? Nothing's particularly like a structured 4-3-3. It's just, it's zonal. I love how do I love how the Premier League's moving? I'd probably say I don't really, because I think every team's playing the same. But Kerkez is very good at this rotation of his positioning. He overlaps when wide man inverts, and he holds when the ball is central. In Slot's 4-2-3-1 kind of shape, where Sobbers lie behind, he provides natural width when left winger comes inside. That's how kind of Feyenoord played as well. I did a bit of research, not particularly much. I'm not too clued up on Feyenoord, but I thought I'd put a note in there as well. There's a lot of similarities with how it is left back. In fact, there's a lot of similarities with that Feyenoord team in general. I think maybe a striker aside, he's always played with kind of a big guy up front. There's a lot of similar profiles in this side. I think Kerkez fits in with that comparison. He pairs well with possession setups. Bournemouth, he was heavily used in their left-sided network, similar to what Liverpool demand. I spoke about Semenyo and I spoke about Diaz. That comparison between them two, I think he'll fit in really, really well. Easy integration, similar kind of thing what I just saying there. Some stats from the BBC Sport just showing this season. Maybe Robertson more key passes, but look at that. 20 more tackles won, way more successful dribbles, way more assists, 2 goals as well. That one against Newcastle at St James's Park was literally unreal. And Robertson's every time Robertson shoots, it goes over. So maybe that's a positive. It sounds like I hate Robertson. I really don't. I've made a video literally yesterday defending him and saying I don't want to sell him. So that's not the case. Easy integration, already Premier League proven, no adaptation period. He speaks English, he trains with top level intensity. He's already part of a high pressing system. I've just written Soberslai, full stop. I just think, obviously, captain of his national side. I assume he looks up to him. Who doesn't look up to their national team captain? The mates as well. Maybe that's a pulling factor of bringing him in. I don't know how these things kind of work, but I imagine like Bellingham were for Jude just slightly, maybe 5%. Do you know what I mean? But we aren't Real Madrid, I guess. Robertson stays as a rotation piece and a mentor, more importantly, which gives Liverpool continuity, and depth. Yeah, it really works. It's not about replacing Robertson. It's about restoring the left-hand side as an attacking threat going back to 2018-19. You know what I mean? Kerkez lets Salah breathe, rebalances the system, and brings intensity without the chaos. He's not world-class yet. I think that's important. Let's not jump the gun. We're not signing a finished article. This guy's still very young and he's still going to be moulded. And I think if anyone can mould him, it's Arne Slot. It's Giovanni van Bronckhorst, by the way, who was a left-back, over 100 caps for Holland, played under Wenger. What's he called? Dick Advocat, played under Rijkaard as well. This man's been mentored by many a coach, and I think we're going to see a similar relationship between Van Bronckhorst and Kerkez, left back to left back, as Heitinga did to Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch owes a lot of his success this year to Johnny Heitinga, who was left. So that's interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below. For me, it just solves Liverpool's problem. As I mentioned, I think the title of this video is something like how he solves a problem, because that problem is Andy Robertson. You could just see the mile off from last year. If you took every game's highlights, you could just tell Robertson was at fault for more things than anyone else. He had fingerprints over more things than anyone. Maybe Gerald Kwanzaa, but he's not a starter. Robertson was a starter, and I think actually when the window opened, obviously granted Trent left, and that was a big gap. But the left back slot was the only position you could have said, "Listen, we need to get one of these fast." Maybe striker as well, but left back certainly. And this is the man to do it, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. Really interested to hear your thoughts in the community. Let's get this community going. I want us to be the place to be. Share it to your mates if you've got any. I don't, but we can be mates. Subscribe, leave a like, and see you later.